Hello everyone, here we will be dealing with multiple choice questions from the chapter Neural Control and Coordination for your competitive examination. I have selected 20 different questions from different concepts from this chapter so that it will give you an idea how the questions will be picked for your competitive examination, that is NEET. Okay, so we started with human neural system components, correct? Okay, then we spoke about the structure of the neuron and the types of neuron based on the number of axons and number of dendrites. Then we spoke about the types of axon, myelinated and non-myelinated. Yes, hope you recall that. Then we spoke about the transmission, that is conduction and transmission of the action potential within the nerve. And then we spoke about the synapse. There are two types of synapse, electrical synapse and the chemical synapse. Chemical synapse is slow conduction, transmission of electrical impulse between the two neurons, okay, normally seen in human beings or animals. Electrical synapse is seen in insects. Then we discussed about the human brain, that is structure. We discussed all three components of a human brain, that is forebrain, then the midbrain and the hindbrain. Please remember all this with functions, very important for your NEET examination. Then we spoke about the structure of human eye, okay, very important. Then we spoke about the mechanism of vision mechanism is also very important. Then we spoke about the ear structure and mechanism of hearing. Then we discussed about the reflex action, reflex arc, and conditioned reflex, unconditioned reflex. This could be asked. I think I discussed about the different types of nerves, cranial nerves, how many are there, 12 pairs are there, and you have to learn it in order, very important, could be asked in your NEET. And the types of spinal nerves, there are 31 pairs. So these are the concepts that we covered in this particular chapter, that is neural control and coordination. So here let us start with the first question. So I have the questions in my phone and you could see in your screen, mobile screen. Okay, the question number 1. It's not kind of match the following question, it's a bit different. Select the answer with the correct matching of the structure, its location and function. Okay, so structure is given, so we'll go with option A. Eustachian tube, we know that Eustachian tube is present within the middle part of the ear, which mainly helps in balancing of the pressure, air pressure, equalizes the air pressure. Okay, so location is given of Eustachian tube. Anterior part of the internal ear, no, it is wrong actually. It is not present in the anterior part of the internal ear, it is present within the middle ear. Okay, function equalizes air pressure on either sides of tympanic membrane. Yeah, the function is correct here, but option A is wrong here because the location is wrong. Option B, cerebellum, location midbrain. No, cerebellum is situated in the hindbrain. Yes, so cerebellum contains a lot of neurons. It provides space for millions of neurons. Okay, so location is wrong, and the function controls respiration and gastric secretions. No, it is wrong. Respiration and gastric secretions are controlled by the medulla oblongata. So option B is also wrong. Hypothalamus, that is C. Forebrain, yes, correct. Controls body temperature, urge for eating and drinking. Yes, so thermoregulation, urge for eating and drinking is mainly done by the hypothalamus. Okay, so it is situated in the forebrain. So option C is correct. Okay, we'll anyhow we found the answer. Let us see the option D. Let us learn something. Blind spot. We know that blind spot is the place where the optic nerve, which leaves the eye, correct, to the visual cortex of the eye. Near the place where optic nerve leaves the eye, yes, location is proper. Rods and cones are present but inactive here. No, here you don't see any rods and cones because retinal layer is completely absent. How do you see rods and cones? So we found the answer for this question. Option C is correct. Okay, we will move to the second question. So it's match the following. Okay, so column 1 lists the parts of the human brain, okay, and column 2 lists the functions. Okay, so parts of human brain and its functions are given. We need to match it. Match the two columns and identify the correct option. Okay, so cerebrum, cerebellum, hypothalamus and medulla oblongata. So 4 parts are given. So we know cerebrum is nothing but controls vision and hearing, because their visual cortex region is also present, auditory cortex is also present in the cerebrum. So A should be number 2 in column 2. So A2, that means we found the answer. Option A is the correct answer now, because if you look into B, C, D, A is 4, A5 is given, but A should be 2. Okay, cerebellum, that is maintains body posture. Yes, cerebellum also maintains body posture. Okay, so this is easy. Then C, hypothalamus controls the pituitary. Yes. So pituitary is situated just below the hypothalamus. Pituitary secretes so many very vital hormones which is required for the physiological activity of the body. So that is controlled by the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus controls the pituitary to regulate the secretions of the hormones from the pituitary. So that is C should be 1. Then medulla oblongata, and that's a bit familiar with, that is controls the rate of heartbeat. It also controls rate of respiration, everything. So answer is A. So we found the answer. We'll go to the question number 3. Match the given terms, that is also column 1 and 2. Choose the correct options. We need to choose the correct option. So option A, some terms are given, and option B, its definition. Semicircular canal, and we all know that semicircular canal is a very important structure which actually helps in the maintenance of the body balance or posture. Okay, so what is this semicircular canal does? Spiral organ of Corti, no. Fluid found in the scala, no. Evaluates rotational motion, yes. Okay, so option A should be 3. Correct. So that is not option A, that is alphabet A should be Roman number 3, because it evaluates rotational motion. So I am doing all this stuff. So semicircular canal containing endolymph, correct. So movement of the endolymph decides the position of the body, and it now send some messages to the ampulla region containing tiny structures or cells. Okay, so crista ampullaris, which actually sends message to the brain telling that the body posture is wrong, so correct it. So that is actually the main function of semicircular canal, and we found the answer itself, that is A. Okay, so vestibuli. Okay, so B is it responds to gravity and movements of the head. Yes, vestibuli is also a place which is containing endolymph, that is situated just below the semicircular canal, which is mainly containing sacculus, yes, utriculus, and also like stones, that is otolith organ. So that is vestibuli, which also mainly helps in the body posture. Okay, so vestibuli, that should be 5. B should be 5. Cochlea, we know that it is circular, like a coiled snail. So spiral organ of Corti, yes. So cochlea is nothing but spiral organ, and which is containing the Corti, organ of Corti. Okay, so C should be 1. D, perilymph. We know that perilymph is the liquid which is situated between the bony labyrinth and the membranous labyrinth. A liquid is there. Okay, that is perilymph. So D, fluid found in the scala vestibuli and scala tympani. Yes, here if you look into the cochlear structure, there are small canals, correct. So cochlear structure, the the upper chamber which is containing a small structure which is called as scala vestibuli, correct, and middle scala media, below scala tympani, correct. So here tympani and vestibuli containing the liquid which is perilymph, whereas media containing the endolymph. So D should be 2. Whereas E, endolymph. Okay, so fluid found within the organ of Corti. Yes, organ of Corti is associated with the scala media. Okay, so it's easy for us. So option A should be correct answer for the question number 3. Okay, we go to the question number 4. Again, match the following is given. Various phase of an action potential, that is in column 1. Okay, so stages are given, and in column 2, ionic activity, that is there are 2 ions, sodium and potassium, like movement of sodium and potassium ions across the channel, that is outside to inside or inside to outside. Okay, and we need to identify at which stage of the action potential or resting membrane potential these ions actually move. Okay, so and choose the correct option. Here column 1, alphabet A, resting stage of neuron. Okay, so what is this resting stage of neuron? That is nothing but when the membrane, for example, let us just draw this diagram. I'm using board for the first time now. So for the question number 4, Okay, so this is axon now. Okay, so this is axon. And what we have here is axoplasm. The liquid is there, and when this particular axon at rest, see, it is not even actually conducting any electrical impulse, it's completely at rest, and it is called as resting membrane potential, or it is also called as polarized state, correct? So we know that it is polarized state, and the charge inside of the axoplasm is negative, outside is positive. The reason is we have more number of sodium ions. So this is resting membrane potential. Got it? Okay, so this is the basic to understand. The first, polarized state. Resting stage of a neuron is all voltage gated sodium and potassium channels are closed. So here we have channels, correct? We have sodium and potassium ion channels. They are nothing but voltage gated ion channel. Okay, so they move depending on the voltage which is maintained at the plasma membrane of the neuron. So this is very important actually. So based on the voltage which is maintained, normally at resting membrane potential, the voltage of the plasma membrane of the axon is always minus 70 millivolts, very less, negative value. Got it? Why it is negative value? Because we have negative charge inside. That's what, like, the plasma membrane is maintained at minus 70 millivolts. Okay, so during this particular resting stage, that is polarized state, we see all voltage gated ion channels, sodium or potassium, whatever it is, which is closed now. Closed, completely closed. So alphabet A should be equal to Roman number 2. Okay, next one, depolarizing, that is depolarization phase in the generation of an action potential. We all know that when action potential to be generated in this particular site, so this is the stimulus now, this dot is stimulus, got it? And what we have here is negative charge. So now this particular negative charge moves outside and the positive charge comes inside. So everything is now reversed. Electrical charge across the plasma membrane is now reversed, and I cannot call it as depolarized state. Polarized state. I should call it as depolarized state. Now this is depolarized, and this is called as action potential. At the same time, please remember, outside earlier when the entire plasma membrane, that is across the plasma membrane, outside we had more number of sodium ions, but now here we get more number of sodium ions because of the rapid influx of sodium ions into the axoplasm. As a result, inside becomes positive charge. This is the thing is happening. Okay, so depolarization is nothing but opening and then closing of the sodium channels, correct? So here during depolarization, the sodium ion channels, voltage gated sodium ion channels opens to move the sodium from outside to inside. That's it. Simple, easy. As a result, you could see the reversal of the charge. Done. So B should be equal to Roman number 1. C, repolarizing, that is after the action potential is now jumping to the site B of the axon, then obviously this particular region which is now action potential is done, over. Now it has to repolarize, that is back into polarized state, back into resting membrane potential, correct? So what the event that during that takes place? So repolarization phase in the generation of action potential. Okay, so C, opening of potassium gates and rushing of potassium. Yes, so here during that we need more number of potassium ions inside to get into polarized state, correct? Yes, because we need to overtake the number of sodium ions which is already inside this region to conduct action potential earlier. Now I need negative charge here, so automatically the potassium ion channels open when the membrane is getting into repolarizing state. Got it? Back to resting membrane potential. So here more potassium ions enters. This is it, simple. Okay, very simple to understand. If more potassium ions are there in the axon, then it is resting membrane potential. If more sodium ions are there in the axoplasm, then it is action potential. That's it. Okay, so C should be 4, Roman number 4. D, absolute refractory phase. Please understand the meaning of refractory. What is this refractory? Refractory is nothing but it is the phase which is between the action potential and resting membrane potential. So let us assume that this is the membrane now. Okay, so this is the site A and this is the site B. Okay, so here action potential which is conducted, generated and conducted, to the action potential to this region B. Now it is jumping. Now A is now attaining refractory phase. What is refractory? That is getting back to polarized state, slowly getting back. Okay, so that is refractory phase. This is the phase between the two sides of action potential. That's it. Okay, so that is refractory. Getting back to resting phase. That is refractory. Okay, so absolute refractory phase. Now, here there is no action potential, correct? So obviously during refractory phase, you don't see any action potential. The site A is completely at rest. Completely at rest. So what do you see there? So the sodium channels remain opened. Yes. Now the sodium channels, which is actually here, will be open, right? Obviously, because it is getting back to the polarized state, correct? So here we have more number of sodium ions because earlier it was action potential, correct? So potassium ions already entering here. So this the thing is happening to overtake the number of sodium ions. Now the sodium ions later slowly it moves outside. That's it, correct? How many sodium ions goes out? 3 sodium ions for 2 potassium ions. So this is the thing is happening. So more number of sodium ions starts to escape from inside to outside because polarization is required. We need more potassium ions inside. So for 2 potassium ions influx, 3 sodium ions efflux takes place. Got it? So this is seen in refractory phase. That is entering into polarized state. No confusion here. Got it? Okay. So option A is correct for the question. Okay, we go to the next one, that is our fifth question. The functions. Okay, so which of the following terms is not correctly matched with its feature? Efferent neurons. We know the term efferent neurons means there are 2 types of nerve fibers. One is afferent, other one is efferent. Afferent means from stimuli, that is site of stimuli, to the central nervous system. The nerve fiber which carries the action potential from site, that is from an organ or a muscle or a tissue to the central nervous system, that is always afferent nerve fiber, EAFF. Okay, afferent, where that is from organ to CNS, whereas efferent, that is CNS to the organ, that is site of stimulus. You have studied in the reflex action and reflex arc concept. Okay. So effector neuron carries signals from CNS to the effector. Yes, correct. CNS to the effector. Effector is nothing but the organ. Got it? It's nothing but regulatory action. That is also called as reflex action. So fine. Axon terminal possess neurotransmitter containing vesicle. Yes, obviously correct. So we know that axon terminal. So if you just draw the axon terminal which containing a synaptic knob which normally contains synaptic vesicle containing a chemical called as neurotransmitter. Simple. Okay, so that is also correct. Limbic system, we all know that limbic system is very important for controlling the expressions or sexual behavior, so which is found along with the hypothalamus. Okay, what is limbic system? Limbic system is the structure which is formed because of a component called as amygdala and hippocampus. Please remember it, very important. Okay, so amygdala and hippocampus along with the hypothalamus, which is important for the expressions like fear, rage, all this stuff. Okay, so and even sexual behavior. Limbic system along with the hypothalamus, it is involved in the regulation of sexual behavior, expression of emotions, that is emotional reactions, and motivation. Yes, that is also correct. Then option D should be the wrong and the correct answer for this question, because association area is present in cerebrum, not in cerebellum. It is given like present in cerebellum. No, it is present only in cerebrum and responsible for functions like intersensory associations, memory and communication. Yes, the functions of association area is correct, but the location is wrong in this particular option. So option D is incorrect and it is the correct answer for the question number 5. Okay, so we go to the next question, that is a diagrammatic question, that is neuron diagram is given and we are a bit familiar with the diagram. Okay, you need to identify 1, 2, 3, 4 in the given diagram of neuron. So 1 is simple, that's dendrite, and 2 should be the cell body, and 3 actually Schwann cell, but they have not given that It's a myelin sheath, so that is appropriate almost. Okay, so myelin sheath, we go with the myelin sheath for 3. Fourth, that is node of Ranvier, because we know that that is the gap between two Schwann cell, that is node of Ranvier. Yes, so option C is correct for this question number 6. Okay, so we go to the next one, that is also diagrammatic question. This is the diagram of the cochlea, that is spirally coiled structure in our inner ear, which is the main organ of hearing. Okay, the given diagram represents the sectional view of cochlea with a few part labeled as 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, Roman numbers, and it's very simple. Now first, Roman number 1 is nothing but scala vestibuli, it's containing perilymph. Okay, then Roman number 3 is that is rhizinous membrane, which actually separates scala vestibuli from scala media. Scala media is the tiny canal like structure there. Okay, so that is the function of rhizinous membrane. And the fourth one, Roman number 4, is the basilar membrane. What is the function of basilar membrane? They actually contain, for example, see here, this is the basilar membrane and they contain auditory hair cells, correct? So when they receive the vibration, they bend and they touch the structure called as tectorial membrane. And tectorial membrane is connected to the auditory nerve. We had discussed about all these things in the structure of the ear, that is inner ear. Okay, so the movement of sorry, I think I did not tell you, Roman number 2 is nothing but the tectorial membrane, which is attached to the hair cells of the basilar membrane, and hair cells and basilar membrane is nothing but organ of corti. Okay, so marked label causes hair cell microvilli to bend back and forth. Okay, here it's nothing but the basilar membrane, correct? Because hair cells are present on the basilar membrane. So option D is correct, that is fourth one. Okay, Roman number 4 is nothing but basilar membrane. So we got the answer, option D is correct. Next, again diagrammatic question of human eye is given, and it should be easy for us now because we know everything about human eye. Refer the given figure of eye in which few parts are labeled as 1, 2, 3, 4. Select the option which shows the correct identification of the part with its characteristics. Okay, so we know the part of the eye with its function also. So here 1 they have given, actually 1 is nothing but cornea here, but here in the option A they mentioned it as choroid region. It contains ganglion cells. First of all, choroid region is containing melanocytes, which gives the color, dark color to the choroid region. Okay, and it doesn't contain ganglion cells, bipolar cells or photoreceptor cells. All these things are present in retina. Actually, main function of choroid is to supply oxygen and nutrient to the retina. Please note this point, they supply O2 and nutrients to retina. That is the main function of choroid. Okay, option A is wrong. Option B, 2 is iris. It is responsible for controlling the diameter and size of the pupil and thus the amount of light reaching the retina. Yes, so labeling is also correct and the function is also correct of the iris, correct. Iris is the colored portion of the eye which gives a color to the eye, and we all know that contraction and relaxation of the iris which will produce the like what we say the required amount of light for the human eye, so that you could see the diameter of the pupil increases or decreases. Normally it is increases in the dark areas where light is light sensitive is, or like light intensity is very low, whereas normally you see it becomes very small, that is diameter decreases when light intensity is very good. Okay, that is controlled by the iris movement. So option B is correct and we got the answer. Let us see option C also. 3, which is a blind spot. Yes, correct, labeling is correct. It is a yellowish pigment spot. No, blind spot is not yellowish pigment. Yellowish pigment is nothing but the fovea, right, where concentration of cones are high and rods are completely absent there, and that is the site of color vision also. So it is a yellowish pigmented spot called macula lutea. Another name for yellow spot is macula lutea, with a central pit called fovea. Yes, fovea, macula lutea and yellow pigment or yellow spot are nothing but for cones. Okay, that is situated just above the blind spot. So option C is wrong for the labeling, and it's matching also. Blind spot is entirely different, where the retina, you don't see any 3 layers of retina, it is completely absent. It is nothing but a pit where you could see the optic nerve which actually goes and connected to the visual cortex region of the brain. Okay, option D, let us see. 4. Cornea. No, that is not cornea, that is retina. It is a transparent front part of the eye that covers the iris, pupil and anterior chamber. Function of cornea is correct, but labeling is wrong. Okay, so we got the answer, that is B is correct for question number 8. Next one, question number 9 and 10 are nothing but assertion and reason type. We all know how to answer this assertion and reasoning type of questions. Option A, here the options are not given, but I will tell you. Option A means assertion and reason both are correct, and reason is the correct explanation for assertion. That is option A. Option B is assertion and reason both are correct, but reason is not the correct explanation for assertion. Option C, here assertion is true, correct, but reason is wrong. Option D, assertion and reason both are wrong. Okay, so we see the question number 9. Assertion: the axonal membrane of the neuron is more permeable to sodium ions and nearly impermeable to potassium ion. Okay, so it is more permeable to sodium ions. No, it's wrong. Actually, the membrane is more permeable to potassium ions during the polarized state, because we need negative charge inside, and it is less permeable to sodium ions. Correct. Okay, you could see that 3 sodium ions goes out and 2 potassium ions comes in for the polarized state, but more number of sodium ions enter compared to the sodium ions, so they are more permeable to potassium ions, not for the sodium ion. So assertion is wrong itself. Okay, then answer should be D, because in the option D assertion is wrong. Okay, and at the same time reason is also wrong, so we are expecting reason should be wrong. In a resting state, neuron does not conduct any impulse, but it is correct. Obviously in that is resting membrane potential, the neuron doesn't conduct any impulse. That means this question is wrong. Okay, printing mistake. So in a resting state, neuron conducts the impulse. That should have been the reason, because both should be wrong. Okay, so we just leave this question, but you know anyhow you understood this. Question number 10, assertion: the chemicals stored in the synaptic vesicles are termed as neurotransmitters. And we all know that if I just draw this structure, this is the synaptic knob and these are synaptic vesicles which is containing tiny chemicals, and they are called as neurotransmitters. Correct? Okay, so that is proper. Reason: synaptic vesicles release these chemicals in synaptic cleft. Synaptic vesicles, they release these chemicals in synaptic cleft, that is the gap between two neurons. That is also correct. But if you just see properly, both assertion and reason are correct, but reason is not giving a proper explanation for assertion. Correct? So we should go with option B, that is the correct answer for it. Okay, so the chemicals stored in synaptic, they have not given like why the chemicals are stored in the synaptic vesicles, why neurotransmitters are present inside the synaptic vesicles, that is not given. So reason is something other, that is also correct. So reason and assertion both are correct, so we have to go with option B. Now let's go to the 11th question. A person entering an empty room suddenly finds a snake right in front and opening the door. Which one of the following is likely to happen in his neurohormonal control system? Okay, a person now sees a snake when he opens the door. Okay, obviously we know that we get frightened. That means the hormones, that is epinephrine and norepinephrine, that should be released from our adrenal medullary region. So this is what we have learned in our previous years. Okay, let us see. Hypothalamus activates the parasympathetic division of brain. No. Sympathetic nervous system is activated, releasing epinephrine and norepinephrine from adrenal cortex. Actually sympathetic, there are two types of ANS, correct. One is sympathetic nervous system, other one is autonomic, that is parasympathetic nervous system. Correct. Sympathetic nervous system always increases any activity in the body, for example heart rate. Correct. So that is sympathetic. Parasympathetic is exactly contrasting, that is opposite character. So that is actually decreases the activity. So sympathetic nervous system obviously increases. So we go with option C. Let us see. Sympathetic nervous system is activated, releasing epinephrine. What is epinephrine? Adrenaline. Norepinephrine, noradrenaline. These two hormones are also called as fight or flight hormones. Okay. From adrenal medulla. Yes, they are released from the medulla region itself. So option C is correct answer for it. Let us go to the option D also. Let us see. Neurotransmitters diffuse rapidly across the cleft and transmit a nerve impulse. So this is obviously nerve impulse itself, but the proper answer for this question number 11 is option C. Okay, so we go to the next question. Identify the correct order in which vibrations travel through the auditory ossicles, and we know auditory ossicles are ear ossicles. There are only three types. There are three bones: meso, malleus, incus and stapes. So you know the order and it's easy. We will go with option B. So no need of discussion for it. Question number 13. The part of an eye which acts like diaphragm of a photographic camera, like aperture. Very simple, the iris. Correct. I said earlier that contraction and relaxation of the iris obviously helps the lens to collect light, amount of light that is required. So that is iris. So that acts like a diaphragm or aperture in the camera. Okay. So question number 12, answer B. Question number 13, answer is also B. Next one, 14th one. Which of the following ions are required for nerve conduction? If you just look into option A, B, C, D, we need three ions. One is sodium and potassium common for the transport of sodium and potassium across the plasma membrane of the neuron. Calcium is also required. Why calcium is required? For pushing the seminal vesicle to the plasma membrane of the synaptic knob. Without calcium, like synaptic vesicles will not open to release the neurotransmitter. So we need three ions: calcium, sodium and potassium. So that is A. That is also discussed in the class. 15th one. During rest, sodium pump of a nerve results in, during rest means resting membrane potential, sodium pump of a nerve results in more sodium pumped out than potassium ions taken in, sodium pumped in without exchange with any other ion, exchange of equal amounts of more sodium being pumped in than potassium ions pumped out. So we will go with option A, because we need more positive charge outside, so sodium ions actually goes out and potassium ions actually gets in. So that's actually the thing which maintains the positive charge. So that is, we know about the nerve impulse, so we can easily get the answer. Option A is correct. 16th one, a typical value of resting membrane potential is, I have already told you, that is minus 70 millivolts actually. So the resting membrane potential volt. Why? Because inside we have more potassium ions and more negatively charged protein that gives negative charge to the membrane, that is maintained at minus 70 millivolts. So option C is correct. Next one, 17th one, the transmission of impulse through neuron is physical, chemical, electrochemical, gravitational. Electrochemical, because there is reversal of charge across the plasma membrane, that is positive, negative, negative, positive, that takes place. At the same time, ions also changes, that is chemical concentration gradient also builds, that is potassium inside, sodium outside, or sodium inside, potassium outside. So that can be seen. So electrochemical, electro means charge, chemical means sodium and potassium. So you see both. So electrochemical phenomenon is nothing but nerve impulse. So 17 is C. 18th one, the resting potential occurs because, why resting potential occurs? Okay, so we go to simple, that is of the different concentration of ions across the cell. Correct, no need of explanation for it. Mainly resting membrane potential, that is polarized state, occurs because more potassium ions inside, outside more sodium ions. So inside negative charge, outside positive charge. It is nothing but different concentration of sodium and potassium ions across the plasma membrane. So C is correct. 19th one, which of the following statement is correct? Okay, so let us read the statements. Option A, the space within cochlea called scala media is filled with endolymph. Okay, so scala media is filled with endolymph. That is correct, but we'll just keep it. So option A should be correct answer for this. B, the vestibular apparatus is composed of two semicircular canals and actually two vertical semicircular canal and one horizontal semicircular canal. So option B is wrong itself. So the otolith organ consisting of saccule and utricle. So here just below the semicircular canal you see three structures. One is otolith organ, that is the stones of the ear, and sacculus and utriculus. Okay, so that contains specialized nerve cells. Okay, for sensing the this one endolymph. Okay, how exactly endolymph actually moves, that is important for your maintenance of your body posture. Okay, option B is wrong. Option C, the external auditory meters helps in equalizing the pressures on either sides of the eardrum. No, external auditory meters produces cerumen because they have gland called as ceruminous glands, which is nothing but producing wax for protection of the ear. Actually, equalization of the pressures on either sides of the eardrum is maintained by the Eustachian canal that is situated in the middle ear. Okay, so that is also wrong. Option D, the membranes constituting cochlea, the rhizinus and basilar divide the surrounding perilymph filled bony labyrinth into upper scala tympani and lower scala vestibuli. No, that is wrong, because upper is always scala vestibuli, the lower one is scala tympani, middle is scala media. So option D is also wrong. So option A is correct, because cochlea has scala media which is filled with only endolymph, whereas other two chambers, that is tympani, the lower one, and vestibuli, the upper one, containing the perilymph. So option A is correct for 19th question. We are in the last question. Which of the following statements is correct about rods compared to cones? Okay, so rods are most numerous in the fovea. No way. In fovea, that is yellow spot, that is macula lutea, containing only cones. Here color vision is more, very high, so rods will not be seen in fovea. So the Roman number 1 is wrong itself. Second one, rods contain rhodopsin. Yes, obviously, which contains opsin and retinal. Retinal is nothing but the vitamin A derivative. Please remember that, very important. Okay, rods contain rhodopsin. Correct. Rods produce general outlines of objects rather than sharp images. Cones actually important for sharp images. Normally in the dark you get the outline, right? So that is actually because of rods, because rods help in scotopic vision, that is twilight vision, dark vision. So third one is also correct. Fourth one, rods produce black and white but not color images. Yes, because cones are responsible for color images, because they have three types of cone cells: red cone, green cone and blue cones. When all these three cones respond simultaneously to a particular light, then obviously white light sensation will be produced. Okay, so that is for color vision. Rods produce only black and white images. So here we have to go with option D, because first statement is wrong. Second, third and fourth are correct. So we'll go with option D. Okay, so these are the 20 MCQ questions. Okay, but I cannot guarantee you that the same or similar type of or same questions will be asked in your NEET. Similar type could be asked in your NEET. So prepare very well. Thank you very much.